Good morning. I have the pleasure to introduce John B. King Jr. He is the Senior Advisor, Delegated Duties of Deputy Secretary of Education at the U.S. Department of Education. Prior to his arrival at the Department of Education, Dr. King served as the Commissioner of Education for the state of New York. He was one of the youngest national leaders for the state education at the time of his appointment, and the first African American and Puerto Rican to serve as the New York State Education Commissioner. During his tenure in New York, was a national leader in implementing college and career ready standards, redesigning teacher and school leader evaluations, expanding career technical education in high demand fields, and increasing educational opportunity for students in the highest need communities. Dr. King also served as the managing director with Oncommon Schools, a nonprofit charter management organization that operates some of the highest performing urban public schools in New York, New Jersey, and Massachusetts, and was a co-founder and co-director for curriculum and instruction for Roxbury Preparatory Charter School. Dr. King earned degrees from Harvard, Columbia, and Yale, and was a 1995 Truman Scholar, and received the James Madison Memorial Fellowship for secondary level teaching of American history, American government, and social studies. It's my pleasure to introduce Dr. John King to the stage, so join me in recognizing him.
Good afternoon, everybody. Wow. It's been 4 days that you've been here, but a little more energy than that. Good afternoon, everybody. It is good to be here with all of you. Thank you, Corey, for the introduction. I had the pleasure of meeting Corey, the 2015 Counselor of the Year, when Corey was in Washington to be celebrated for his leadership in his school. Just a few words about Corey. I think it's worth saying that what Corey is doing is what we hope to celebrate that everyone in this room is trying to do, right? Trying to expand opportunity for students. Corey has many students for whom college will be first generation experience. They'll be the first generation in their families to go to college, and Corey smartly gets his kids connected with college experiences, college opportunities early, and as a result, students are earning college credits while in high school. They are going on to college in high numbers, and it's thanks to Corey's leadership in his school. So, Corey, thank you for what you do. Thank you for the symbol that you are for all of us about what's possible in school counseling. I want to start by thanking all of you for what you do every day on behalf of students. There's no question that school counselors play a critical role, not only in helping expose students to the possibilities that lie beyond the K-12 system, but in creating school climates and school cultures that are supportive of students, help meet students' needs, and create safe spaces for students, and also helping individual students develop the kinds of skills that they will need to be successful, not only in college and careers, but ultimately in life. You play the role of consoling, advising, guiding, informing, teaching, coaching, collaborating with your teacher and administrator colleagues in your schools. And at the department, we are grateful for your service, not only to your students and your school communities, but really to the country. What you're doing makes a difference for the future of our country. I know personally the importance of school counselors because my mom was a school counselor. Actually, when I was in elementary school at PS 276 in Canarsie, Brooklyn, my mom was the school counselor in my school. Which probably helped me to do better in class, right? That my mom was the counselor in my school. I didn't get to know my mom's career well because she passed away when I was a kid. She passed away in October of my 4th grade year when I was 8. And I remember my father didn't think I should go to my mom's funeral, but my older brother did, and he came back and he described my mother's funeral and described standing at the gravesite with her students who were crying and talking about how much they would miss the role that she had played in their lives. Students who talked about how they were headed off course, they were going to drop out, but my mom kept them in school. Students who talked about difficult issues they were dealing with in their personal lives, with their families and with friends, and my mom helped them figure it out. And I remember as a child just thinking about how important my mom was to them, and it helped me in trying to deal with losing her, to know who she'd been in the world for others. And after my mom passed, I lived with my father, who was quite sick. He had undiagnosed Alzheimer's, and so I didn't know what was wrong, but I knew home was this very unpredictable, unstable place. And on any given night, I didn't know what it would be like when I got home from school, which is true for so many of the students that all of you work with and support. And I can recall one night when my father woke me up at 2 a.m. and said it was time to go to school. And I remember being on the staircase in our house, holding onto the banister and saying, no, Daddy, it's not, it's the nighttime. And I didn't understand what was wrong, and it was very scary, but what sustained me, the reason I'm standing here today, the reason I have the privilege to work for President Obama and Secretary Duncan, is because of educators, like all of you, in my schools at PS 276 in Canarsie, Brooklyn, and Mark Twain Junior High School in Coney Island, New York. The teachers there, the counselors there, the support staff there, the administrators there, believed in me. They could have looked at me and seen, here's an African-American Latino male student growing up in the city with a family in crisis. What chance could he have? But they didn't. They invested in me. They gave me opportunities. They made school this safe, nurturing, challenging, engaging place that I wanted to be every day. My teacher in 4th, 5th, 6th grade, Mr. Ostwald, he had us do Shakespeare in elementary school. He had us read the New York Times every day. He was the kind of teacher, you finished a book, he was there with another. His class created this safety and order in my life that I didn't have at home. And even after my father passed away when I was 12, and I moved around from school to school and lived with different family members, school was always the center. And you, for so many of your students, you are their center. And I am deeply, deeply grateful for that and have a deep appreciation for what that means. And because of the work that you do and because of the work that educators across the country do, we're seeing progress for our students, but not enough and not fast enough. Earlier this year, the president announced that the country has the highest graduation rate we've ever had, at 81%. Right? That's worth applauding. That's right. And for the first time in many years, we saw progress not only for all students, but we saw our subgroups, African American students, Latino students, making significant progress. We saw actually a closing of the graduation gap. Yet we know that despite all that progress, it's not enough, that we still have a 15 to 20 point graduation rate gap for African American or Latino students. We still have many of our low-income students who never even make it across the high school stage. We still know that when you look at our colleges, there was a recent study by the Pell Institute that showed that students in the top income quartile were 8 times more likely to go to college than students in the bottom income quartile. 8 times. 9% likelihood of having a college degree by age 24 if you were in the bottom income quartile. 77% if your family was in the top. 9% versus 77%. So even though more students are going on to college, even though we are expanding opportunity in this country, it is not enough, it's not fast enough, and there is more work to do. And I know that that is work that all of you are committed to. And our job in the administration is to try and support you in that work. That's why the First Lady has made it a priority. I saw the picture, the Reach Higher picture from yesterday. First Lady has made it a priority to celebrate and recognize the work of school counselors. The President has made the My Brother's Keeper effort a priority, where we look at our student groups that are struggling the most, our African American, Latino male students, and figure out how we support them, because their success will help us to be more successful with all students. So the First Lady and the President have this extraordinary commitment to the work that you do because they were students for whom mentoring made a difference. They were students for whom an extra push, an extra challenge, an extra support made a difference. And they will say, and the First Lady did yesterday, an event celebrating career and technical education, they will say that if not for the folks who pushed them along, who gave them that extra support, they wouldn't be where they are. They have that recognition. And so that's why we are so committed to the Reach Higher initiative and to the My Brother's Keeper work. It is also why we have launched a new grant competition focused on supporting middle schools. I was a middle school principal, and I'm also now a middle school parent, which has given me even more perspective on the challenges and opportunities of middle school. But we know that middle school is a key turning point in many young people's lives, and so the administration recently launched a grant competition called Skills for Success. The idea being that we should invest in initiatives that build our capacity as a country to build what some people will refer to as non-cognitive skills. I'm sure you've talked a lot about those kinds of skills over the last few days. Of course, they're not really non-cognitive because they require cognition, but these are the skills like perseverance and resilience, the things that we know make a difference in student success in college and careers, make a difference in students' readiness to handle the challenges that inevitably come with life. And so in our Skills for Success competition, we're looking for folks like you, together with your schools and districts, to get resources to build initiatives focused on developing those skills and then evaluating those initiatives so that we can learn from them and scale what works. We are also committed at the higher education level to ensuring that we build good bridges between students' experiences in our secondary schools and their experiences in college. We have a First in the World competition which is designed to incentivize higher ed institutions to work internally and in partnership with K through 12 to ensure students' success in higher education. We know that students need so often. They just need that guidance, that voice, that support, that help in figuring out which classes to take, what to do when they're struggling in a course. That's true in middle school, it's true in high school, it's true in elementary school, it's also true in college. And we know that's the kind of difference you can make in partnership with other educators. I also want to acknowledge how hard your work can be. One of the reasons why the First Lady is so committed to the Reach Higher effort is because she knows how frequently school counselors are asked in schools to do things that aren't counseling. She knows how frequently you're asked to go to professional development that isn't quite useful or focused on your needs and what you do. She understands that in many schools, the ratio of students to counselors is more like 500 rather than the 250 that would be recommended. She understands that too often schools operate without any counselors to support students. And so we're committed to making the case to Congress and to state governors and legislatures about the need to invest resources in support of school counseling. So know that we are, in the administration, your partner in the work of expanding opportunity for young people. So just want to close by connecting your work with our broader challenges as a country. You know, over the last few weeks and months, we've had an opportunity as a country to reflect on who we are. We have had moments, particularly in recent days, where I believe we can truly celebrate that we are a place not only of tolerance, but a place that seeks to celebrate our diversity and to create ever greater social justice in our society. But we've also had opportunities over the last few weeks and months to see the places where as a country we are falling far short of those aspirations. If you haven't had a chance to watch the eulogy that the President delivered last week, you should. If you haven't had a chance to see the speech that the President gave at the anniversary of the Selma March, you should. In both of those speeches, the President situated our current moment in a narrative of American history that is about a people committed to continuously getting better. If you look at the course, and I taught high school history, so you'll forgive me for a brief detour into American history, but if you look over the course of American history, what the President points out is that we are constantly challenged as a society about whether or not we are prepared to do what it takes to fulfill the promise of American democracy, whether we are truly committed to the principle of equal opportunity for all, whether we are truly committed to maintaining the liberty of all, whether we are truly committed to challenging prejudice. And at those crossroads moments, it is individual Americans, the folks on that bridge in Selma, the folks in that church in South Carolina, it is individual people who stand up and say together that they believe we can be better than we have been. The message of American history is about this notion that we can be better than we have been, that all of us together look at our world, we look at a place where we, as we said, we advanced our graduation rate to 81%, but we still know that there's a 15-point gap for African American and Latino students, and we say we can be better. We think about our students who no one in their family has gone to college, no one maybe they know outside of school has gone to college, but we think tomorrow could be better for them. We look at communities where students are bullied for their sexual orientation or their religion, and we say, no, it can be better. We look at a country where race and class still constrain opportunity, and we say, no, it can be better. Fundamentally, what you do is about creating strong and nurturing school communities. It is about fostering healthy, hopeful future adults, but it is also about a conviction that we can and must be better as a country. And so on behalf of the President, the First Lady, Secretary Duncan, thank you for what you do. Thank you for taking time out of your summer to continue to learn together so that you can get better, so that we can get better together. Appreciate this time to talk with you. I hope we can continue this conversation. I know the conference is coming to an end, but you can follow me on Twitter, John King @Ed, and hopefully we can continue this conversation and keep working together to build a better future for our children. Thank you.